All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to, yes, the MLB officially, kind of, sort of. We do have a two-game series to kick off the regular season between the Cubs and the Dodgers, taking place early morning Tuesday, I believe 6:10 Eastern Time AM, and Wednesday morning as well. We're going to dive into that first game between the Cubs and Dodgers. In this one, I'm going to give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3 for more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. In terms of how we did in 2024, I'll take it. I'm a pretty damn happy camper with this one. Over 45 units secured. Had a good hit rate as well. If we can do anything like this and take this and kind of build off of it, I'll be very, very happy in this 2025 season. And speaking of, like I said, these are the two games that we're going to be diving into over the next couple days to kick off the season. But opening day isn't for, another 8 days or so. That is going to be March 28th. So there still is some relevancy to our MLB Futures video that we have live on the channel right now. So if you have not checked that out, make sure to go and do so. That is just pinned right to the top of the channel page, or at least should be. Shouldn't be that hard to find. If not, you can search for it. You will find it. We have a decent amount of futures this season. Win totals, World Series winners, player props, you name it, it's in there. So go ahead and check that out. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into the first game of the 2025 season. Guys, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Very, very excited for this. Like I said, we're still a little ways away from true opening day, which that's when the jitters and the vibes are really at an all-time high, but this is real baseball. These are games that count towards the record, and we have two studs on the mound today. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We got the Cubs plus 135 on the money line, total sitting at 8. I've also seen some 7.5s out there. That'll come into play in just a second. We'll mention that a little bit later on in the video, but let's go into this one. So Shota Imanaga on the mound for the Cubs. Obviously had a fantastic season. Last year, he was 15-3, 2.9 ERA, pitched a ton of innings, strikeouts per 9. I think he averaged over a strikeout per inning, which is really, really good. And then his whip was also very good, just about 1 flat, which is phenomenal. On the other side, we do have Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and yes, I'm probably mispronouncing something in there. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I think that's better. He's also an absolute stud too. So we have two fantastic pitchers on the mound, also both with decent numbers against the other team, but Yamamoto last season, 7-2, 3 flat ERA, 10.5 strikeouts per 9, a 1.11 whip. Fantastic numbers in his start here in his game against the Cubs. But like I said, both these guys have some really good numbers against one another. And that kind of takes us to where we might go in terms of a final play right away. That total's sitting at 8. I had already said that, right? There are some 7.5s out there, meaning if you can still snag an 8, I don't think I mind the spot. At least from what we've seen in recent seasons, it sometimes takes batters maybe a game or two to adjust back into real baseball, more so than pitchers who have been throwing and practicing, and not to say batters aren't, but at a better degree, right? So I do think that, 8 seems like it could be a decent amount to throw out there. I could see this being like a 4-3 type of a finish game. I do say that as a lean and just a slight prediction here because if we look at these offenses, I know that Shota Imanaga is a fantastic pitcher, same with Yamamoto, but we do have some absolute firepower in this game, and most notably on the Dodgers side of things. I mean, their lineup of Ohtani, Edman, Mookie, Muncy, Hernandez, Smith, Rojas, like they have so many guys that it's like, holy crap, right? Like they have a holy crap lineup. You thought that last year, it gets better. Like it is just kind of crazy. So obviously an under in play can get a little dicey, but overall, the Dodgers, funnily enough, they don't hit the fastball as well as they do things like the splitter, the sinker, and all that. And Shota Imanaga throws his pitches. 52% of them are fastballs. Now, the Dodgers are still very good at hitting the fastball. Do not get me wrong. They're 13th last season. And obviously, a lot of the numbers we'll look at are last year numbers because that's what we have to go off of. But they were 13th in terms of runs above average in hitting the fastball. Everything else they're really kind of greened out and a lot better at. So at least we do have Imanaga here, who does throw a ton of fastballs if it's locating, if it's working. It's not exactly the best pitch for the Dodgers to hit. Still a very good pitch. They can hit anything, right? But at least in ranking them to other pitchers, decent situation. On the flip side, you have Yamamoto, who throws a ton of fastballs and a ton of splitters, making up pretty much the two biggest pitches that he throws. Fastball 40.4% of the time, the splitter 24.2% of the time last season. Cubs against the fastball, 18th in terms of runs above average ranking. The splitter, bottom third in the league at 21st. So neither one of these teams absolutely dominate the type of pitch that they should see. Last season, obviously, we do see them play, and we saw a mixed bag of the types of games we had, high scoring, low scoring. So if you want to look at that, you can nitpick it. But what I will say is we did see a game in which the Cubs actually scored a ton of runs the last time we saw this pitching matchup, which was Yamamoto versus Imanaga back in September. That was a 6-3 game, and realistically, that was a 5-run 8th inning. So you take away that 5-run 8th inning against the relievers of the Dodgers. Both these starters still did their job overall. I think it was 2-1 heading into the 6th inning. So hopefully we see something similar. If we look at these two pitchers and their careers against the rosters, 26 plate appearances against the Cubs for Yamamoto, and this is the guys that are on the roster. So not necessarily just against the Cubs, just against guys that comprise that team, right? 42.3% K rate, a sub-8 walk rate, an average of .083, a WOBA against of 135, an expected WOBA 256, slugging at 300, expected batting average against of 206. We look over at Shota Imanaga, 39 plate appearances against, and obviously these sample sizes are somewhat small, but nearly a 20% K rate, a walk rate of 0, average against of 231, expected batting average against of 264, expected WOBA of 321. So we do have some good looking pitching here just overall, you know what I mean? So I do like the idea of a potential under. Now, bullpen wise, Dodgers really good bullpen last season, and the Cubs, for what it's worth, I guess they're middle of the pack, right? ERA ranking wise, they were 11th in the league. When it came to WHIP, they were 18th, whereas the Dodgers were 3 and 5. So hoping the bullpen can kind of keep it together, because like I already mentioned, there's some damn firepower over on that Dodger side of things, which gives me a little hesitation when thinking about an under. But it is kind of where my head is at as of right now. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if we do ultimately end up rolling with that, because we're going to start a little conservative. We don't have to go crazy game 1 of the 2025 season, right? Because the other thing we're considering, and it's chalky and it's square, but I can't really deny that this may be the spot. Dodgers money line, they're minus 150 right now. Are you really going to get Dodgers minus 150 very often this season? I don't think so. So there are a lot of factors here. Weird timing game, foreign place, obviously, against a Cubs lineup that last season didn't really hit righties all that phenomenally. So I think that that's obviously a little feather in the cap, but they did walk a ton. And I guess for what it's worth, if they get guys on base, that could lead to a little bit of disruption for Yamamoto, especially early on in the year, dealing with, runners in scoring position, that type of thing. But to me, you have a team that has a dominant pitcher on the mound. You have a lineup that looks like it was made in like an MLB video game. For minus 150, yes, it's kind of juicy, but maybe the direction that we go in. So, yeah, for all chalk reasons and all intents and purposes, I like the Dodgers on the money line, and I like the under. Those don't necessarily correlate, because Dodgers money line, because of all the firepower and all that, that makes it kind of tough, because what if they go out there and win this one 10-1? It's like, well, that wasn't an under, but the Dodgers dominated. But we'll see what we can do. If we turn our attention to a player prop here, and I'm going to jump into the Outlier screen, guys. If you want access to Outlier, one of my favorite sports research tools out there, especially for player props, guys, that link will be down in the description. You get a 7-day free trial. Absolutely free. You don't like it, you don't have to keep it going. 7 days free. I'm liking Tommy Edin here over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Now, obviously, this lineup's a little bit different. I think he's probably batting, previous, last year, kind of higher up in the order. It's likely that it'll be a little lower, but I still don't mind this spot here. Over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. You can see the odds right there. Last 3 against Chicago, 2, 6, and 8. On the season last year, hit this in 55% of his games as well. But the head-to-head is really, really interesting, and I want to kind of pull it down here and look at this. Against Shota Imanaga, only 3 plate appearances, okay, 667 average, 2 home runs on those 2 hits, 2 RBIs. I mean, clearly that's good. It's a very, very small sample size, right? But we can look at him against a left-handed pitcher, and this is a little bit more of a, large sample size. Still kind of small, but this is last season against lefties. 412 average, 250 WRC plus. We love to see that. What I will say is, looks like Shota Imanaga versus righties, pretty damn good. But overall, like I already mentioned, Shota Imanaga is going to throw a ton of fastballs. And I mentioned the Dodgers not being the best against fastballs and all that. But if we look at Tommy Edman here against fastballs, 309 WOBA, a K rate that drops from his normal 19.6 down to 13.8. So we do obviously like seeing that. And if we look at the hot zones, look at this fastball, right? We see a lot up in the zone that Imanaga throws against righty batters. Well, Edman, pretty damn good when you're looking at that stuff up in the zone. Now, not way up in the zone, but we're talking small sample size. The heat map kind of checks out overall. So, yeah, obviously that's a little bit juice, but if you guys don't know, baseball is quite different. Like, you can pay a little bit more juice in baseball. It's a money line sport more often than not and that type of stuff. So if you're used to NBA or NFL, this could be a little foreign to you. But yeah, I don't mind Tommy Edman over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs again as a lean. And anyone that's new, let me just clarify yet again, everything we're talking about in this video, I am considering. I feel like that's good. They're good spots, good matchups. The data backs it. But anything that I actually roll with myself, if it does interest you, I'll put that in the final plays, and you just follow the pinned comment to take you there absolutely free. So that's one player prop that we're looking at as of right now. Our second one, this one worries me a little bit, but the way that we get to an under, I'm thinking is Shota Imanaga pitches fairly well. Over 14.5 innings here. Can he make it 5 innings with a fresh bullpen in the first game of the year? A little worrisome, but the data really looks good. I mean, even head-to-head last time he pitched, 21 innings against them. Yes, this is a tough one because obviously they can have a short leash. Like, there's no one, their bullpen is good to go. It's the first game of the year against a fantastic offense. I think a lot of people are going to be thinking this is crazy, but even not going to get through 5 innings shouldn't be all that crazy. Like I said, the last time here, he pitched 7 innings against them. Time before that was 4. He threw, pitches thrown, 35% of those were swinging strikes, which is really, really good to kind of get you through that. But overall, like, if he doesn't have a pitch limit or anything like that, I think this could be a decent look. So kind of the recap there. I do like the Dodgers. I like the under to some degree, and I think that correlates to Imanaga overall having a decent game. And then that Tommy Edman, I think, could be a good look for a hits, run, and RBIs. But guys, that's going to wrap it up for episode 1 of the 2025 MLB season. Very, very excited. We're probably going to start pretty conservative, maybe like quarter unit plays, half unit plays, definitely no full unit plays that I'm considering here. But nonetheless, guys, let me know what you guys are rolling with down in the comments. And hopefully we're looking at this one pretty well. We started the MLB season last year pretty damn hot. We'll see. We'll see what happens in this one. Obviously, a lot of factors, but let's have some fun with it. Let's have a good season. We'll catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.